Hey guys, so it's been a really long time since I've done a video. I'm trying to get back into it. Basically, my plan is just to do videos when I get the chance. I'm not going to be a regular uploader. Hopefully I can do it more than how much I've been doing it lately. But I'm actually making this video for someone specific. The 7th level on YouTube, look him up. He was looking for some information on Transformer toy. Basically, he found the MPP10, which is a KO knockoff version of Optimus Prime. That's a knockoff of the MP10. So I gave him some information on where to get it, and the cheapest place, or where I got it personally, that was a little bit cheaper. So I wanted to make this video for him, just to show him kind of what he'll be getting into when he gets it. I know there's a lot of videos of this out there, but I just wanted to do my own personal review. I've been really getting into Transformers lately, so I'll probably have some more Transformers reviews coming out gradually. So I just want to jump kind of into it. So this is the MPP10 KO knockoff Optimus Prime, and he's huge, as you can see. Let me move it back a little bit. This isn't going to be the best quality or anything, just because I'm doing this off of YouTube and whatnot, but this is the best I can do. So, this is him. Couple things before I get into it. This Autobot symbol here does not come with the figure. Since it is a knockoff, they do not have the license to use the Autobot symbol. They also don't call him Optimus Prime. They call him Commander or something. But I got this for about $63 off of AliExpress. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it some of the Transformers trading sites, things like that. Basically, the difference between this and the MP10, which is the Takara, or there's a Takara version and a couple others, but the difference between this and the official licensed piece is this is the same exact toy with slight improvements, plus it is a giant version. It's much bigger. The changes that they had to make it scale bigger is they added more of the vents here, and there's a couple other things that you may notice if you do have a regular MP10. This is actually a cheaper option than getting the actual MP10. I got this without a box, so I luckily, talking to 7th personally and then some other people, I would actually prefer getting it with a box, just because of the way he was shipped. He was shipped in a box that was about half his size, kind of just folded in. His head was off, and his smokestacks on each side are not were not in at all. There were a couple issues with that I had. I ended up having to find a screw to put on the back of his neck to fit, to keep his head on, because his head was here, but he has a plastic piece in the front, a plastic piece in the back that go together and basically make the figure. So I had to find a screw that fit to keep his head on. When you get it in a package, it comes in a nice box. It comes all kind of pre-packaged and in an individual kind of separate piece, which is nice. I'm actually considering getting another one of these with the box for a couple reasons. I'll get into that later. But what I got was, I got the Optimus Prime. I got all the accessories and the instructions. The instructions, give me just 1 second. Let me grab it. It's just over here. Okay, so these are instructions. Now, I've seen a lot of people get this, and it has, this is kind of the box art as well. Some I've seen have an actual picture of this guy here. Let me just set him in frame here. So basically, this is what I got. It was just kind of stuffed in with him and his accessories. Basically has just, how to transform him, things like that. It's just funny because they call him MPP10 Commander in deformation instead of Transformers. It does have instructions on a trailer. You can get a trailer for the MPP10. It's an oversized trailer as well. I personally don't have it because it's extremely expensive, I think. And I'm not a big fan of the trailer anyway. So this comes with everything I wanted. It just kind of shows how to do everything. I would really look at this thoroughly when transforming him. I'll get into that in a second as well. But you get that. The other thing you get is his ion axe. Now, this, I've been told I don't have an actual MPP10. The reason I got him was because I wanted the cheapest version of a die-cast G1 Optimus Prime. But a lot of people say that the plastic on this is harder than the plastic you get. It does come a little bent, but, you know, it's not a huge deal. Really solid, it's not going to break. Basically, to install this on Optimus, there's this, you know, this square piece that just goes over his whole fist, and he has a little notch here that his thumb will go into. So basically, you just kind of push it in, like so, and then he has his axe, which is pretty badass. Now, when it comes to movement on him, I've been told that the MPP10, the actual one, his fingers don't have pins, so his fingers would pop out and his thumbs and stuff. But his fingers do open, and he does have a trigger finger and things like that. So there's that. The other thing is he has a couple other accessories I wanted to go over before we did anything else. You can open up his chest piece here. Then you open up this here, the grill, and there's this black part here. You open that as well. It's kind of weird. It's kind of tough to open at first. But inside is his matrix, which is falling out because it's easy to fall out once you get it out like that. I would rather have it loose than tight. I'd rather have it loose than tight because when I got it, they just shoved it in there and it was like stuck. You had to take like a screwdriver and pry it out. My personal experience, this is die cast. It's really heavy and it looks really great. I've seen different colors of this just with production, I guess. But this is the one I got. It's a little smaller gem on, bigger gem on one end, and then you flip it around, and it's a little bit smaller on the other. You can pick whichever one you prefer. But I've noticed when you put it in, there's kind of these grooves on this one, on this end, and then it's kind of flat on the bottom. Putting it in that way is what keeps it in and doesn't make it hard to take in and out. He's just for posing really when it's in his chest, so it's not gonna fall out when you move him around a lot. And when you put this down, it locks in. So there's no issues with that. I want to get into one part that is my fault, and one of the reasons why I want to buy a backup of this. I, for the first few months I've had this, have been transforming him wrong. I will get into where I've been transforming him wrong in a little bit, but basically I've been forcing a piece together that shouldn't be getting forced together. And it makes these doors now not stick in as easily. I mean, they shut, they look good. I mean, they don't look like they have any issues when you just pose them and things, so that's fine. But whenever I move him even a little bit or transform him, his chest will start to open up. Actually, it's doing pretty well right now. But his chest usually will open up as soon as I start doing too much with it. So I will show you why. That's one downside of screwing up his transformation. The only complaints I have about this guy, which aren't that many, is his pistons or his smokestacks, whatever you want to call them, they were not installed. Now it depends. Seventh, you'll have to tell me when you get yours. I think when it's in the box, it's all intact and it's all put in properly. These just slid in. They just pop in and out. I was dumb. It's not a big problem anymore, but I wanted these to stay in. So instead of using like a hot glue gun, I used super glue. And I stuck this in there, and they're not going anywhere now. It actually helped because these were so loose that they wouldn't stay up or down because they do move up and down. But I was dumb, and I used super glue, which ended up seeping in through the arm, which in the transformation, you'll see this part goes up, and it's what kind of does part of the transformation. It would not do that because it was glued. So I had to sit there for hours with a nail polish remover or alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and I had to, like, lube up his arms so they could go up and down again. Now he works just fine. It's actually more solid. I'm very actually happy I did that in the end. But that was just one complaint I had as well. Everything else, he's so solid. If you really want to review on like the movement of the guy, you can go to anywhere on YouTube and search MPP10 Optimus Prime, and there's a million reviews on him, a million things about posing and everything. He moves really well. Let me transform him for you because I want to go over a few things in that. And I want to show you kind of how to do it right because I'm the kind of guy that I can't follow the instructions very well. I can do it with Legos, but I can't do it with Transformers. For some reason, I just can't see it correctly and I don't get it. So I usually look it up on YouTube on how to transform him. Problem is, a lot of guys on YouTube are doing it wrong. Or they show it in a weird step, or they skip a step and they'll show you because they do a jump cut or something. So I'm gonna do this live. It may take some time, but I wanna make sure you do it right, because if you don't, you can have the same problem me with these. So I'm gonna open these now because it's gonna drive me crazy when I start transforming him and I see how these just pop open. Like I said, I may get another one here eventually. So what you wanna do is you wanna start with his arms, and you just want to, there's this little peg right here that keeps the arm in. You want to pull that out. So you do that like so. Flip the fist around like this, and then you want to just close that up. It doesn't peg in like it does when the fist is out the other way, but that's okay. So then you're just going to do that with the same one. Let me just do this real quick because it is easy. There. Then you want to put his arms at a 90-degree angle up like this. You want to also pull his arms out as far as possible. That's the other thing I noticed with this guy is his left arm with the Autobot symbol is just really loose. I mean, it will go in and out super easy. The other side is super like tight and sturdy, and that bothers me a little bit, but that's not a big deal. So then what you want to do, which is the part I couldn't do when I super glued this, but I can do it now, is you want to just pull that up. So his arm is now at a 90-degree angle. It can't hinge up and down. Do that with the same side, like so. So you have it like that, okay? So now his arms are, if you have this closed, his arms are out like this, just facing. So you don't worry about that for now. Then you come down here and you're gonna pull this out and you're gonna move it all the way to the side of his leg, and it'll tab in on the side right there. If it doesn't make a noise, it's fine. Mine doesn't on one side and it does on the other, but it is pegged in. It's just sometimes they make a click, sometimes they don't. Do that the same side there. Then you wanna come back around here and see how you can see his wheels, but they're not, you can't really see the sides of them. You take this flap here and you just flip it around, and you would turn it around and have it touch the back. I already did it with this side. So you have that, and so he's looking like this. Next, you want to take the feet and collapse them in like so, and make sure they're just kind of facing straight out. You can fix that later. Then there's pegs in between his legs. You just want to kind of put them together like this. So they're kind of together. On the back end here, you can do this different ways too. You can do it without putting them together already. I like to do it this way just because I've seen it and it looks kind of classy when you do it this way, I guess. But on the back, you have these gray buttons here. So basically all you do is you just push the buttons, and then these will come down. And then you'll hear a click on that too. Make sure these are out like this. So now he looks a lot shorter. Next, what you want to do is, let's see. This is where you can kind of decide. What I do so I don't forget is I turn him all the way around like this. So the bottom end's facing this way. Then you want to take these, and they tab in at the top. Now with these, that's the other thing that bothers me is the legs, they're not going to stay completely closed. I don't know if yours will or not. But mine, they don't stay completely closed. And these, if you push them in all the way and then it pops them out. So I kind of just keep them flush. It's not a huge deal. It doesn't affect the sturdiness of the vehicle mode, so it's not a big deal. Next, you do probably want to open these if you haven't already. And then you're going to take the grill and you're going to just carefully pull back on it, and then you're going to pull back on the whole torso of Prime. So he's going to come up like this. Now this was one step that I just figured out that I had been missing this whole time. It didn't affect the windows like it did with this other piece coming up, but it was something I was doing wrong. So you got this red piece right here. This goes down, and then you got this little peg, this little hole, and it's going to be right in here inside the grill. You want to make sure that clicks in. I never did that. It didn't do anything wrong, but it does make it much more sturdy. So he's solid in there now, he's solid in place, and he's going to be looking like this. Next, he's in like that. The one thing a lot of guys who do this forget when they show his transformation mode is the ladder pieces here. You just pull them out like this. They do kind of get in the way as you're transforming, so you want to make sure you're careful, but you do want to remember to do that because you do forget, and then it's impossible to, it's not impossible, it's hard to get these out once you get everything else put together. So you have that. as so. You're looking like this. So now what you want to do is you have these back pieces here, and you want to make sure that you bring this down and move his arms up so that this is out of the way a little bit. You bring this down like so. I'm doing this opposite too, so forgive me. And then you want to swivel it. You actually probably want to turn it this way towards you, because the other way it makes a really bad clicking sound. I don't think you're supposed to do it that way. I don't think it hurts it, but you probably should do it this way. So it comes forward like this, correct? You want to make sure these pieces are facing out, so this will unclick and make them down like that. So then all you do is the same side. I'm going to do it facing this way so I don't fuck it up. So this comes down, this comes towards you, pull these out like so. So now you have it, should look like this. Okay? Now, this is where I screwed up, and this is where I've been doing it wrong for months and kind of been breaking my toy gradually. So make sure you do this. Every video I saw did not emphasize this, and it screwed it up for me. It's not a huge deal. It should be obvious. A lot of people already have an MP10, so I think that's why they don't really do it. But I want to make sure it's done correctly, because the guy that I watched, he completely skipped over this and it screwed me up. When you bring this this piece down here, this is where the grill is. It's hidden underneath his head. You pull this down, but what you want to do first is you want to get all of these pieces open, that black piece and the grill piece, to show off the matrix, because that is what's going to line up the bottom here. So this is going to be kind of sliding out. You can take it out, you can kind of finagle it to where when you bring it down, it stops itself from falling. You just got to get it down far enough. So I usually kind of have to mess with it. I would rather mess with this though than do it wrong and break the toy. So this is gonna like click in. You're gonna hear an actual click on the grill when it comes down. And it's gonna be as flush as it can be with these things here. When I've been doing it, when you don't bring down both of the black piece and the grill piece, it's gonna not be flush and it's gonna look weird, and you're gonna have to force things together, and that's my biggest problem I had. Now, so it's down all the way now. You should be able to close these like so, and the instructions it even says this, and that's when I started to see maybe I'm not transforming this right, maybe I need to look further. These need to close first, not the arms. These need to close first, because this is what's gonna show you that you're flush with the grill and the windows. And I couldn't do that at first, so I'd put the arms in, and then I would bring the windows up, and I would push them in and just force it all together, and it felt really tight. It felt like everything was just gonna pop apart and explode. You don't want that, because that's what's gonna break it. So, actually I forgot a step. You just wanna take Optimus's head and bend it down, and his head will just stay in there like that. So this closes. Now this is the hardest part, I think. It's not super hard once you mess with it. You're not gonna break it if you're careful and just know where everything's going. I can't do this facing you though. You wanna basically bring his arms in and around. So the shoulder, the top shoulder is gonna go around up against the gun, which I haven't shown you yet, but I'm gonna wait on that. So this comes around. You wanna make sure the fists and the arm squeeze in like this, and it makes this process so much easier. When I did this while forcing shit together, it was not this easy. I should have known. I'm an idiot. I should have known that I wasn't doing it right from the beginning, and I should have stopped, but I didn't. So this just comes in like so. Do the same with this end. You gotta kind of do a little bit of finagling. You gotta make sure everything's lined up properly. If it's not turning, look at your pieces and make sure that the pegs aren't getting stuck on another piece, because that could break something off too. So this just comes together like so. Just make sure this is all kind of in place. Make sure the doors are on it. So it's gonna look like this. You're really close now. Now, these just come up. And when I did this originally, I had to force these in. I had to sit there and literally like pull this whole thing up and get it tightened in, and it was so stupid, and these had to really click in. These should just sit right in like that. They shouldn't do anything else than that. You shouldn't have to worry about pushing anything or lining anything up. These just come in like so. So you're pretty much done. You just pull this out a little bit farther, take these pieces, they just slide in easy, easy, easy like that. See, because these doors, they don't shut as easy as they don't click in as like they used to. They have a little bit of gap sometimes, and it's kind of annoying to see. So, the last thing you do, you got your little mirrors. Flip these out. Flip these out. So you got your mirrors sticking out, and then the smokestacks on the back here come down. And there you have vehicle mode. Obviously, it looks amazing. The other thing you want to check, I don't know if I'm able to show this or not, on the bottom, there's a little peg that'll go in to the actual top of the waist right there. You want to make sure you're doing that as well. That makes sure it's all lined up. It should do it on its own, but you never know. So you have the cab here. You can open the doors, mine very easily, which is cool. Mine came with a spike from the show. He's like this size. I left him at my old house. I just moved, and so I can still go to that house and get stuff. So I gotta go pick him up and get him back here. But I do have him. So but yeah, so you can actually sit him in there, which is really cool. But you just close this up. Truck mode looks very nice. Now, when it comes to this Autobot symbol, if you want to do the same thing, I think it looks cool. I like it. There's a lot of different versions you can get on eBay. Mine cost about $4. It shipped from China, so it took a really long time for just a little bit of a thing, but it was worth it. I can show you a tutorial on how to do that. There's a lot of them on YouTube, so it's not really a dire thing. Basically, there's just a regular, it's shaped like this, but it's plastic, and it's red. You just take an X-Acto knife or a small screwdriver, pop that out. There are two little pegs and peg holes. You just pop this one in. You don't have to glue it or anything. It just pops in and you're good to go. It wasn't a big deal. This is die cast. Everything on here, this is die cast. The cab doors are die cast, and the feet are die cast. Also, I think the chest piece here is. But everything else is plastic. The wheels are rubber. Looks really good. I hate that. That's going to drive me nuts. See how it does? I'm definitely probably going to have to pick a new one up because I'm such an idiot. But it's not a big deal for now. One last thing I want to show you. It's going to be kind of tough because I transformed him first. But bear with me here. I want to show you the gun because the gun's awesome. It's one of my favorite parts of this. It looks amazing. It works really, really well. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to comment or message me on Twitter or whatever. I really want to make sure people are doing this right because I don't want people to go down the same road I did and just assume you're doing it right just because it all looks right. Because even though it looked fine, it did not transform fine. And it was harder I was struggling with it. I was breaking it. And now I have to face the consequences of something not super major, but it's still annoying, especially when you spend money on something like this. So let me just bear with me here for just 1 second. I'm not going to fully transform him back. I'm just going to transform him enough to get to the gun. Now see this, well, when you transform him back, when you pop this back up, it actually makes a click. It makes like a big click and it's kind of stuck. That should be what you're looking for. This also is kind of tough to pop out at first. Okay, so this just goes here. This just goes here. These just turn back. They're going to come up like this. They should just face up like that. And you got Optimus clicking in like that. Okay, so now I can get to the gun. Let me just get his arms out because I want to show him holding it. Those just come out. I'm just going to do one arm. This folds around. Okay, so his gun just stays in here. It's just in this little box. You just open it like that. And then you can actually push on this black piece because that's part of the gun. It actually pops it out. And there you have the gun. There's this little lever here. Push that. And it just sticks out like that. So his fist obviously has a trigger finger on it. So you just open it up and it fits perfect. I mean, you just slide it on in there. And then you just close the fist up. You even can put that finger on the trigger if you need to. It works really well. The other hand actually probably works a little bit better because this is the one that you use for the Energon X, but there's his gun. Really cool, good paint apps on it too. You just open that back up, take his gun out. To fold it back up, you want to make sure you're not pushing this because that's what's gonna, you know, pop it out. You just fold it back, stick it in like that. So that is the MPP10. I hope this helps you out 7th. I really was kind of debating on if I was going to make a video because there's so many of these on YouTube, but I really wanted to do it because I wanted to make sure that it was done properly. Really frustrating with some videos. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or Twitter. Thanks a lot.